Welcome everyone to a Super Saturday special edition of Comin and Klutch, your favorite sports podcast. This podcast is being brought to you by Troy City Mortgage, the best place to get a mortgage in Mass and Rhode Island. Led by the great Dave Pereira, the team at Troy City has local roots, deep knowledge, and expert solutions to get you the very best mortgages possible. Give them a call at 508-207-5864. That's 508-207-5864. Gave Dave and that team a call for the best rates in town. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Colby. What's going on?
Welcome. Happy Saturday.
Yes, a happy, super special Saturday edition of Comin and Klutch. So I want to thank Eric B. Media for allowing us to come on a special edition of Super Saturday Special. We are going to have a ton of different things going on, to include a special guest after the break. So let's stay tuned, folks, and welcome on. Hopefully this time allows for some people who can't see us live to be able to see us live now, Cole.
Correct.
So there you have it. As always, we always start with our opening vent. And today, Cole, our opening vent is being brought to you by who?
Core Nutrition, 25 Market Street, and that's in Swansea, Massachusetts. Go down there. Like I said, I go there every day. That's my breakfast of choice right there. Amazing shakes. And Anna and the staff will definitely take care of you. That's at 25 Market Street, Swansea.
There you have it, folks. Opening event, Cole. I think you're up. You're first, I believe.
All right. So my opening event has to do with Tom Brady. And, obviously we loved him for 20 years, but you're starting to see kind of who the real Tom Brady is. And I feel like he just can't help himself and stay out of the news. So are you retiring? Are you not retiring? What's going on? Because at this point, I'm kind of getting sick of it now. Like, you're retired, stay out of the limelight, and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now there's talks where, he's going to come back and he's going to play for the 49ers. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just getting sick of it now. Like, okay, you went to Tampa, you played there for 2 years, just give it up.
The honeymoon was over real quick,
exactly.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. It's a quick down and dirty by Colby on that. I tend to agree with you. It's one of those situations where I don't think he's even officially dropped his retirement papers yet.
I don't think he has either.
So I don't know what's going on there. I think a lot of it has to do with the honeymoon went over, and he saw the true colors of Bruce and what Bruce is or is not, which is he's a terrible coach, folks. Newsflash, he blows. So if you think he is the reason why that team became anything special, he was not. We all know, even if you're not an avid football guy or gal, that Tom Brady ran the show there. And he went there because he knew he could run the show, and there were pieces around that would allow him to be able to have a competitive team.
But isn't it kind of like you're kind of seeing who the true Tom Brady is now?
I think the true Tom Brady of the last 10 years.
And he needs to be in the spotlight at all times.
Post 2017. Post 2017. I'm telling you, 2017, that loss to the Eagles or leading up to that game,
correct,
was the beginning of 3.0, whatever 0.0 you want to call it.
Yep, you got it.
He definitely changed, man. Something happened to him. There was a change in his dynamic, a change in his mannerisms, a change in how he delivered himself. There was a change. So when people say, people don't change, actually they do.
Correct. 100%. 100%.
People will change based on years of experience, wisdom, whatever it may be. As they develop, something does have a tendency to change. Mm-hmm. There are pieces that he may not change. His work ethic probably didn't change, but I think him as a persona changes. If you win $1 million tomorrow, you might change. If you lose your house and lose everything on a situation like a fire or something, you change. So there are situations that happen in hurdles in life that change, and I think with him that was the case. And I think Alex Guerrero doesn't help that either. So
you got that right.
There you have it. So my opening vent actually is going to do with the Bruins and the stupidity of happening with the disastrous approach to the shootout.
I'm already laughing.
And the fact that the Bruins, they have children who are taking these shootouts. So they play against a tough, very well-coached Rangers team. And I thought they were going to get pounced, and it was a close game. And it comes to the situation where it comes to the shootout, and it's the most annoying product I think I've seen in hockey. the shootout is just. This is what I see. Tweet-de-doo. Here we come down the blue line, and then they don't have anyone. Not Pasternak, not Bergeron, Bergie, Pasta. They can't win a shootout.
Yeah, right.
They cannot win a shootout. They don't have any creativity with their shootout. Why is Foligno taking a shootout? You suck. You are a terrible, terrible player when it comes to taking shootouts. And they shoot it right at the pads. No desire to see them in a shootout. If they don't score in overtime, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. And I want to tell you that my second vent part of the Bruins, Pasternak, do not go in the puck and move around with the puck with the stick. You are a turnover machine. You need to just sit in your place. You need to camp and wait for a pass. Just shoot the puck. But he is a disaster.
Isn't it crazy, though, like the sense of urgency that has changed ever since Tuukka retired? Like all of a sudden Tuukka comes back and they get all excited, and then all of a sudden he retires and it's like, well, we don't have our guy anymore.
I am so sick and tired of seeing Pasternak just trying to do too much, turning the puck over, especially on a power situation. Do you not realize that you have an advantage? Get to your spot, just shoot, bro. Can you just shoot the puck because you're way more effective than when you're trying to skate with it and shift around? Let Tyler Hall or let someone else with a better stick handling and moving of the puck take care of that situation. So it's a problem with that where he wants to do too much and he's a turnover machine.
And he has a lot of talent, man.
Tremendous amount of talent, but he can't move the puck.
Correct.
And he tries to do too much. And he's always late in releasing the puck and making the puck move into the right direction. And, of course, it's the shootout with the Bruins. They just don't have anyone.
You're right.
They don't have anyone. Now, the goalie there for the Rangers, he's the best in the business. But newsflash, he is the best goalie in the business, period. He is outstanding. And Allmark cropped his pants once again. So that guy, wow, is that guy getting
$5 million
overpaid?
a year, baby.
$5 million a year. I can tell you, he's not worth 5 nickels. And Swayman has done fine. It's just the situations back there where, he concerns me, and I'll get into him in a little bit of what his concern is with his game. So there you have it. My gripiness with the Bees. I don't think they're going to go very far this year. Tukes being gone and Bergie and Marshy, like this infatuation that the hockey players have. They want to nickname each other. They're like little kids in kindergarten. Bergie and Marshy and Tukesy and just play hockey. You guys are playing like a bunch of assholes. Terrible hockey. I don't understand how you could be so inconsistent. You fight hard. And then in the third period, where things are getting kind of tight, you want to play turnover hockey. You cannot turn the puck over. In hockey, or any sport, you can't turn it over. But in hockey, when you got a great team on a counter ice, you are going to get smashed. And they hung tight in there with the Rangers, and it comes to, I stayed up for this. What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I need to go see my doctor.
The hell are you
and
doing?
He needs to give me better pills because I'm not right, and I'm watching this. So anyway, so that's my take with the Bees. We'll get more into it, folks. Special edition of Super Saturday Spectacular. I am red hot already. Maybe we should do this more often. And maybe it's early.
I should have came out on fire.
Yeah,
I gotta come up to your level.
Oh yeah, it's the end of the week. So it's at the end of the week for me. It's the weekend, so I don't have to worry about much really. Other than it's the weekend. 508-974-3040 for all you lovely folks who are watching.
Please chime in. Please
definitely chime in. We'll take some calls. We had a couple last week, and we're looking to have a couple more again this week. So, as I said, our seekers of events, we're going to be talking about a plethora of different things. We've now closed the chapter officially for
the NFL.
The NFL. So. That's that. With that, we're not going to be getting into any draft picks. So save your draft picks. You and Mo Kuiper, you guys can go in the cave, relax, don't lose your minds. Okay, we'll get to the draft at some point. It's early. Relax.
Give us a couple of weeks. Right?
Yeah. Give us a couple. What I'm enjoying is the fact that the MLB can't get their act together, Colby.
What else is new, man?
Boy,
what else is new?
Talk about negotiators. 15 minutes is all it took for them to walk out, and they still don't have a plan. And I laugh profusely. You know why?
They're gonna keep killing the sport.
Because they are killing that sport. You don't want to have Barry Bonds get in. You don't want to have Roger Clemens get in. And then you say you don't want to test for steroids or PEDs. And then you can't start the season on time, training camp or whatever the hell they call it.
And I think Manfred said he was 100% sure that they were going to start on time.
He is 0.100% sure. That guy is clueless. I am telling you right now, baseball's got problems.
They
Cole.
do. It sucks.
There are
it sucks,
a
man,
major.
because I love baseball, and it hurts me to see.
Can you tell them red hot right now?
Of course.
Wow, baseball. I used to look forward to that.
Yeah, because the nice weather was coming.
Do you know what I loved about watching baseball?
What was that?
In February, when it blows up here in New England, where I have 10-degree weather and then it's 150 degrees the next day, this inconsistent. And February is the shortest month of the year. It's only the 19th. It feels like I've been in February for 10 years.
It does feel like
Go away, February. But I used to look forward to it. Is that your birthday month? Boom, is that what it is? Oh, so everyone else in the world hates February except Boomer. Boomer likes February. So anyway, it's a special month. It's rather short for its reason. But anyway, I used to enjoy hearing about what was going to happen, them getting the trailers ready to go and traveling down. You remember
you would see all the media at Fenway.
Yes,
they're going to follow the truck down to Fort
and
Myers.
Who was going to show up and who was not going to show up, and Manny Ramirez wasn't showing up, and Pedro Martinez was doing his antics. I used to love that. And I would be watching the Grapefruit League. Is that what it was called?
Grapefruit League.
Yeah, I know it's named after a fruit. I'm not sure. Another genius by the MLB.
Yeah, but that's when we used to have the hot stove.
The hot stove, yes.
Used to actually do something in the off
I used to enjoy watching it because it was summer down there. The guys got the glasses on. It just felt like baseball, and it felt more importantly like spring.
Yep.
Now, in 2022, I could care less because they can't get their act together. And they're not going to start on time. They've had this whole offseason to figure it out. That is a mess. That team, that sport needs major revitalization. And for you purists and traditionalists, I apologize. You need to understand that the game of baseball is not being played where we had a bunch of time to be able to just watch a ball game that took 7 hours.
When it was 10 cents.
It's not the days of you went to go milk your cows. And or you did farm work, and then you went to go watch the ball game to go get peanuts and a pop, and you sat there because you had nothing better else to do. We have lives. Move the game around and along.
Thank you.
Forget that. I don't want to. 15 pitchers it takes sometimes to get through a game. 15 pitches. Pitchers.
I was going to say 15 pitches. Wow.
Yeah, pitchers. Yeah, pitchers. ERS. Pitches. 15 pitches. And it's insufferable. And the statistics have ruined that sport.
You got that right, man.
This guy's going to go in there for 3.5 pitches. And if he strikes out the guy, he's out. What are we doing?
Listen, baseball has become a nerd sport. And I don't mean that, I don't want to offend anybody, but it's all about the metrics and this and that. Like,
too much,
they need to get rid of that. Just go back to throwing the ball, hitting the ball, fielding the ball, and seeing what happens. It's that simple. Baseball's a simple game. And everyone's making it to be out this, this guy, if you throw a curveball in this situation, he's just going to hit like enough of that.
I just can't fathom it. I don't understand all the logic behind it. I'm not saying it may not work sometimes, but it's too much. It's just too much.
It is, man. It is.
So we're going to take a quick break. And we'll come back on the other end. We'll bring in our special guests. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Super special Saturday edition of Comin in Klutch. Hang in there. We'll see you on the other end.
15. I got work at 6. So.
Folks, and we're back. Welcome to a super Saturday special edition of Coming in Clutch, your sports podcast, your backyard podcast on the Eric B Media. And on the other end, as I had said, we were going to bring on a special guest, and we have with us the infamous great Alex Cabral, aka Yung Kobra. What's going on, my man?
Appreciate it being here, bro.
All right.
I'm doing good. Trying to stick out this weather. You feel me? With
Dude.
This weather's been driving me nuts.
Did you not hear my ranting about February?
Hey, man, I look forward to your rants once a week. You feel me? Like,
I'm glad somebody does.
It's a lot of aggression at once. I like it.
Oh, it is. It's all or nothing with me. Good stuff. So we're bringing you on, man. And I want to let Colby kind of take over this a little bit. I want to kind of sit in the rear a little bit on this. But welcome. Thanks for thanks for giving us the time to come on to our show. We don't usually do Saturdays, but we're here today.
Yeah.
And here we are.
All right. So Cobra, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. So tell us a little about yourself.
My name is my artist name is Yung Kobra.
Yep.
I'm a rapper out of I grew up in Fall River. I pretty much just rep Boston though. I've been doing music about 3 years. It's just been a grind every day.
Of course.
It's something I love to do, and I feel like it's never work if you love the process. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I try and stick to that methodology going forward. And I wouldn't trade what I do for anything. So I'm
good for you, man.
So.
I mean, you listen. You've definitely been killing it. All right. Trust me, I listen to your music all the time.
Yeah,
right?
it's hot, bro. It's fire, bro.
I'm always repping your music.
Good stuff.
So I guess the big question is, what made you want to get into the hip hop scene?
Man, so when I was going to school in Fall River, I remember I really didn't have it set like music genre that I was really set on, but I heard Candy Shop by 50 Cent. And that's what set it off, man. Yeah, I saw Candy Shop, and then I was like, I saw the video, and that video was way too adult for me at the time, but I still watched it.
I was going to say, when that song came on, I'm not thinking about music at all.
I was just going to say that really.
But I'm usually on cloud line by myself.
So
I'm glad I gave somebody an influence.
So that expanded into 8 Mile from there, and just
Eminem.
that, and just from there, that was it. Once I saw 8 Mile.
You're kind of hooked.
I'm doing this.
You're kind of hooked.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
So besides 50 and Eminem,
yeah.
I guess who would you say are your big influences in hip hop or your role models?
My number one artist and influence is Kanye West.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I knew that. I had a feeling that was coming.
You weren't gonna get out of this podcast without hearing Kanye's name. You feel me? So
listen,
there it is.
I love Kanye's music as a person.
Much to be desired.
Yeah.
Much to be desired. No, but he did get one of the Kardashians, so I guess he's doing something right.
Yeah, right. He did. You're right. Yeah. So you would just say Kanye's pretty much your role model?
Number one, bro. I mean, I like any genre, when you really get into it, because you're a DJ, you expand more and you find this artist was influenced by this. And, I could be here all day with all the artists.
Correct.
Number one at the top of the food chain would be Kanye West.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And like I said, as much as Kanye can be a dink in person, I've seen him live a few times, and his live shows by far are the greatest shows I've ever seen. Just the way his setup is with the stage, and it is insane. I must say, Kanye knows how to throw a party, man. So, but that's cool. Like I said, I had a feeling you were gonna bring up Kanye, but I just wanted to make sure. You know what I mean? Just because I was feeling it, that doesn't mean that I'm always right. So, so one thing I want to bring up, which is actually really amazing. So you finished 2021 really strong. You had 215,000 streams, 111,000 listeners, and your music was played in over 77 countries. This is all on Spotify.
Awesome.
How do you feel about that? I mean, just hearing those numbers, how does that make you feel?
Let me go put my headphones down. I'm not that level. Good. That's excellent.
Nah, man, it's crazy to think about, because I remember I spent a couple of years kind of scheming how I wanted to do this, and I just feel like at the time I'm just how am I even gonna make a song? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even write a rhyme, and then it was I made one song, and then nobody listened to it. You feel me?
But that's usually
that's how that goes.
I was gonna say that's usually how it goes.
This is the greatest thing ever. It's gonna be a Grammy. No listeners. I've been there. I've been there.
So then it just expanded, and just to get to this point now that 250,000. I mean, if you add in the other streaming service, pretty much you're looking at 250,000.
Is Spotify your number one service?
Yeah, #1. Yeah.
Are you on Apple Music?
I'm on Apple. I'm on Tidal, Amazon, everything.
Wow. So you're on everything.
Everything.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I saw those numbers and I was like, wow. You know what I mean? Like I said, I remember when you first were sending me music. Hey, what do you think? You know, and this was probably going back 3 years ago. So just look at all the progress you've made in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
You know, it's amazing how you know what we could do as humans when we dedicate ourselves.
Exactly.
When you add motivation.
You're right.
You know, and I've done music my whole life as well, and it's a grind. It is. It's a lot of hard work. You're always going to get a critic, and that critic could be legitimate, or that critic could be not really having a lot of merit, but they just feel that they want to hate because they feel like maybe their abilities and their talents are not quite at your level. So I give you a lot of kudos, man, because the hip hop world is quite saturated. Every day there's a new guy that wants, or a new gal, or a new artist that wants to get into the hip hop world. The hip hop world has probably been the most hippest genre probably in the last, I don't know, 25 years, maybe 30 years. So, you know, it's wonderful that you were able to keep it going, man. And you're still in producing, how you've grown, and music allows you to do that. You've evolved into your own sound, your own name, and you're a local guy, man. You know, and that makes it even better. And that's what our podcast is about.
And we love to see local people,
no doubt about it,
you know, do good. And one thing I can say about you, I mean, yeah, you're making the music, but you're also making your artwork for your albums. You know what I mean? And just that alone, man, some of the creativity and the talent that you put into making your album covers, I mean, that's just crazy. It's crazy to me, man, how good you are. You know, and I've told you, you could do something with that, you know, but I get it. Obviously, you're focusing on music, but I just want you to know, like, you know, all your album covers are sick, man. They're awesome.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. I when I started, that kind of started, you know, I feel like the most growth you get is when you're doing it out of struggle, pretty much. And I didn't have the money to pay for $100 for a cover and this and that.
Of course, man. Of course.
I had to learn on my own how to make the covers, and then they got kind of dope. I'm like, why am I going to pay anybody? You know what I mean?
No, that's a twofold talent, man.
Yeah, so.
I got my own album and I got my own. You know what I mean? That's sick, dude.
And listen, and a lot of people don't have that talent, so a lot of people are paying out of their pocket to have this artwork and all their album covers made. You know what I mean? So for you to do it yourself, it's just another example of, you know, kind of the sky is the limit with you. You can do whatever you want, man. You know, you can do it. So this is going to kind of go off to my next thing. So I just saw that you just released a music video for Art Block Freestyle last week, right?
So before you get, I just want to give my shout out to my guy. His name is Always Risk Things, Art. And he started this thing that he was just going to start doing little videos of artists just doing like quick freestyle or a song they already made. And just, it's a quick video. Probably took 15 minutes to film for him. And he's been blowing up with this. I got to give props right there. My shout out to him because he put that together. But yeah, Art Block Freestyle was something I put together for him to film. Yeah, and I put it out this week.
Yeah, like I said, I watching it was awesome, man. And I already know the answer to this, but I got to ask this for the people.
Right.
So it was in like an old warehouse, which was pretty cool the way it was set. So I got to ask you where that was.
So that was.
I don't know if you want to give your secrets away, but you know what I mean. But
yeah, so that was in Taunton. You know, there's in Fall River, I'm sure you could find a place too like that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of old warehouses.
Of course, this is like the area for like old warehouses, man.
So, there's enough mills here to build an empire. There's plenty of brick and mortar going on around here.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
Nah, that was definitely awesome, man. Like I said, the video was good. So I got to ask you, after seeing how good you had, you know, in 2021, what is your goal for 2022?
So my goal for 2022 is just release content, but consistently. Like my goal is to because I was a little spacey in 2020. That happens, you know. But I want to get out like a video and a song like every month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just think the consistency is key because, like you said, bro, hip hop, there's new artists a day. If I'm hot today and I don't put out something for a couple months, they're like, who are you talking about? Cobra?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you get forgotten quickly. You know.
So where did you come up with that name?
Where did I come up with that name, man?
I don't want to put you on the spot.
No. So honestly, I was just thinking, I love animals, and I like snakes, and I was just trying to come up with something kind of dope, you know, original. But I was like, you know, Cabral sounds close to Cobra. You feel me? So I was like, I kind of built off that, and I'm like, and I can have like a logo of like a snake. I'll have like an image.
Yes.
You know? So and then it just built from there. You feel
me?
I
listen. I like the name. It's catchy.
It is.
It's definitely catchy.
Yeah.
And like I said, what you do with your talent, with the artwork, makes it even more catchier.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I definitely got to give you your props on that. You know, I got a couple more questions, so obviously for Cobra, and then we're probably going to go to another commercial break, and we're actually going to talk sports with him.
That's right.
But before we get there, I got a couple more questions for you. So do you have any live shows coming up in 2022?
Man, I was supposed to have one today, but got canceled, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. But definitely some coming up. 'Cause
Okay.
I got like a new management and stuff, and they're booking things for me. And there's gonna be live shows for sure.
Do you need a DJ?
Always need a DJ. Always need a DJ.
DJ Classic plugging away once again.
No, which is good to hear. So my question to you, because a lot of people are going to be watching this, and you want to, obviously we want to get you out there too. So where can they book you if they want you live? Where can they book Yung Kobra?
You can book me. You can look me up on my socials, or you can send an email to either realyoungkobra@gmail.com or my manager, doughboymanagement@gmail.com. One of those two works.
Perfect, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So you heard it first here. We got we have the real Yung Kobra live in the studio. He's been making music for about 3 years now, but as you can see, man, he's had a lot of views this year, and it's only going to get better. So give his music a listen. You're going to be very impressed by him.
Yep, and I gotta tell you, I met him. I think it was in the summer.
Yes.
And the thing about you that I love, Cobra, is that you're an approachable person, low key, just a grounded dude. And I think that's imperative. I think people, when they start getting into artists, they want to be able to relate. I think my question that I wanted to ask you is, what would you tell maybe someone listening that wants to get into this world? Like, what do you tell them, to get started? How do they face that first step of breaking through music?
It could be even like a fear. Like, how do you break that fear?
So when you get into this field, you're gonna see a lot of doors close in your face, a lot. But you just got to keep going and just don't care what anybody else says, because if you have the vision and you really want to do it, and I don't mean nobody that they're famous like Instagram model and they just want to do rapping on the side. I mean, if you want to get in this as an artist,
yes,
you're gonna see a lot of doors closing in your face. A lot of people criticize you, talk negatively, but you just got to ignore that and keep going, because then those negative critics turn to positive. I've seen it firsthand. So that's what I would say.
There you go.
Sorry, last question before we move to sports. So just so people know, what is a typical day of Yung Kobra? Like, especially what you do as a rapper, what is a typical day like?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's always on the go. It's like a lifestyle. It's like I write something in the morning. I find some beats first thing in the morning, write some rhymes down, hit the studio, whether it's at home or I go to the actual studio. I got both. And then either it's podcasts or I hit up probably 10 podcasts or radio stations a day on DM. And that's important because that adds up and it opens doors for you.
Especially that's how you get your music out there,
Right.
Yeah. And then, like, for example, today would have been, I went to the studio this morning. I hang out with you guys for a little bit. I went straight to a show, but the show got canceled. But that's the day. It's just constant grind.
Well, just think, man, all the nice weather's coming, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of bookings.
Yep.
And just keep me in mind for those bookings. Just kidding. But but yeah, so I guess that's everything, right? Is there anything else you want to say? Anything you want to plug before we take our commercial break?
Nah, man, just believe in yourself. You feel me? That's it.
There you go. There you have it, folks. Yung Kobra. Check him out. Follow his music. The dude's hot and fire, man, and he's got great stuff. He's got a great sound. It's a unique sound. When you hear it after about the second song, you'll know his voice. You'll know who he is. So we'll come back on the other end. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk some sports with the great Yung Kobra. Stay tuned on the Super Saturday edition of Comin in Klutch. Hang in there.
You're on.
And we're back, folks, on this super special Saturday edition of Coming in Clutch. We have our guest with us, Mr. Yung Kobra. He will be with us for most of the remaining of the podcast. And we had a great interview with him. If you missed this segment, you can go back and check that out on the different platforms that we have. And we're going to go back into the sports talk. And I know, Yung Kobra, man, you're a sports guy, and it looks like you enjoyed sports. You chime in every day, so we appreciate you and all of you, really, who call in 508-974-3040, and also looking at and checking out our podcast on a weekly basis. So let's get it back into the sports thing. That's what we're really usually here for. Here we are.
We are?
Sometimes. Just to kind of get back into the sports thing before we go too deep, what is your favorite sport? What do you like the best?
My favorite sport's football.
Football,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
What's your team?
Man, it's still the Patriots.
I was going to say, don't hurt me on this. All right, don't hurt me.
It's still the Patriots. Okay.
Yeah, barely.
Barely. And there we have it.
Here
So,
we go.
of course, we know. Here's the next question. Those of you who follow us. So, who's your favorite player? Football player.
Active or retired? Nah, I mean, it would be. I grew up on Tom Brady, man. But yeah.
Were you in the bandwagon when he left that you kind of had to go his way too?
Man, I was bothered by the way he was cut out. I mean, like, and me and Colby, we argue about this so much. Like, this will be,
Oh yeah, it's 2 against 1 today.
Yeah, oh yeah. I gotta come on both sides.
Well, how did you get watching sports? Like, you remember your first sports experience, whether it was on TV, whether it was live?
Yeah. So my first game I ever watched was Super Bowl 38 with Panthers and Patriots.
Wow.
That was my first game.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was what a way to open that up. After that, I was like, I love sports. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that actually, we have the hat out here. That Super Bowl 38. For those of you who are looking over, that is your left and my right. Second hat in. That was Super Bowl 38. Actually, a Super Bowl that really isn't discussed much, but it was really a heck of a game. The first is like a tale of two stories there. The first half, they were not really doing much, a lot of defense, nastiness. And then the second half, it just blew up. So that's a great game. If you're going to have a good experience, you can watch that one. Mine, on the other hand, was a 1986 Bears, where it was a very close game of 46-10, and the great Walter Payton and the refrigerator, and some guy named who was the quarterback for the Bears? McMahon.
Jim McMahon.
McMahon. Terrible is what his name should be. And he was more worried about the next sunglasses he was going to wear. But that was a heck of a team. So my experience was not so good on the first one, but I did become a Pats fan right away.
So
right after that.
I'm going to chime in off this because we have one of our followers here watching us wanted me to ask Yung Kobra a question. So he wants us to know if you're a Yankees fan, because since you rep Boston and Fall River, you're always wearing that damn Yankees hat.
Who'd you pay off to get them to ask me that one? No, but so that's a funny story, man. I'll be honest with you. I rep all the home teams, but the Yankees was the one team that when I first got into baseball, right after the Super Bowl, I got into the Yankees, and that was just
because they were a good team.
Yeah, I love.
I mean, they were a good team. I guess I can't fault them for that.
So you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, that's my one fault, I guess, as a Bostonian. The rest, I'm good, but the Yankees I've always just liked.
Do you dislike the Red Sox?
No, I don't.
Not like that.
You, I'm to keep it 100 with you. I haven't watched a baseball game probably like 8 years.
And you're not missing much, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. Another fan. MLB. Manford. Wake up, stupid, because you are losing fans left and right. So there you have it. Even Yung Kobra says, you know what? Peace out, bro. I'm good with you. That's excellent. I have seen the Yankees house. I always wonder.
Now we know. See, I always wondered that too. But
there you go. There you go. What other sports do you like? Are you into the Winter Olympics that are going on? Yes, I am watching that curling event, and I actually enjoyed watching some of the different sports. Anything in the Winter Olympics that
I have not got into any of it yet this year.
Okay. It's a little low this year.
It's kind of tough because if you think about it, I feel like it comes on at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
I mean,
the time difference.
Yeah, it's not. I just forget. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's just,
I know, but I do want to plug though the fact of the Olympics. It is an important thing. What I love about the Winter Olympics or any Olympics is that these people are representing their country. And I think that's huge.
It is.
You know,
It is.
You're representing a flag. You're representing a country, and you're giving it all you can. And that medal goes with you, but it goes with the country too. Right?
Correct.
And I got to give it credit. It's the winter. It's cold. There's snow. It's not really happy. It's not like the Summer Olympics where they're just outside.
But the problem is, if you think about it, it's China. That's all man-made snow. Because it's really they have to make it look like it's winter.
Right, like it's winter over there.
You know what I mean?
You know,
and I think that's maybe why I'm not sucked in so much because like you see how it's kind of fake a little bit, and it's like I thought this was supposed to be like the winter.
Yeah.
Olympics,
So I've caught a little bit of it myself, but I haven't watched a ton of it. You know, thank you very much for the men's U.S. Hockey team. Thank you very much for blowing it. So I appreciate you letting me stand up and watch it because since the Bruins are pathetic, I was going to watch them and they got bounced. But I think the women are still in it. I believe. They're still in the women's hockey team. So, and the figure skating, I also kind of enjoy. Yes, I think it's pretty good how those guys and gals can do that stuff. So, and they can be on there and do all those amazing things. And they never fall. I'm always looking for a fall.
Me too, right?
But it never happens.
Who's going to wipe out today?
Who's going to wipe out, man? They're so good. And their names are like 17 syllables, you know, so they got to be good, you know. But no, all the nations that are involved with the Winter Olympics, you know, we as a sports podcast, we want to chime in and let you know that we appreciate what you do for your country and best of luck the rest of the way through. Let's get right into I want to get into some details with some of the latest and greatest things. So now we are hot and heavy right now, Cobra, with hockey and basketball, kind of neck and neck as far as their schedules. So the All-Star break is this weekend.
Yep, we have the skills competition, the 3-point competition, and everyone's favorite dunk contest.
Yeah, when I was a kid, and I looked forward to this weekend. I looked forward to seeing the 3-pointer in the dunk contest, and I still once in a while get the urge, but it's not quite the same. Maybe just because
you know what will always live in my head, and I can't remember the year, but the year that Vince Carter went off in the dunk contest was something that I'll never forget.
2000.
Was it 2000?
I think it was.
But you haven't seen a dunk contest like that since, man. But that was one of the greatest dunk contests ever.
Vince Carter was a baller in that time, for sure. Basketball, do you follow hoop?
I do. Yeah.
What do you like there?
Obviously I watch Celtics when I can. I like to watch LeBron James, but they're just a mess this year with the Lakers.
Yeah, they're a mess.
So you're a Yankees fan and a LeBron fan.
Well, there we have it. So this is going to be short-lived. Don't worry. Our producer / manager / owner is also in that same realm. You know, so it goes to the territory.
And he's a Cowboys fan.
And he is, well, and yeah. And he's and he also loves February. So it's really a hot mess going on over there in the background. But it's a live year. Well, the Celtics have been playing, some good hoop. They're really red hot. They wound up falling short to the god awful
Detroit Pistons.
How does that happen? Oh, I know. I know how it happens. Because in the very first 3 seconds of the game, they decide they want to have turnovers. And now there's nobody in the middle that can block out and rebound. And so now they're getting these second half chances. Now they're getting these easy buckets. Now they're getting these easy shots. And then the Celtics get a lead. Then they lose the lead. And I said to myself, it's going to be a long night. I could just sense it. Talk about a trap game.
And I think the Pistons lost 8 in a row road games.
They've won 14 games all year.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you lose to that team?
See, and here I am. I was almost getting sucked in, right?
You were almost there. You were neck deep, baby.
And I was like, all right, they should beat the Pistons. And what did they do? They failed me once again.
It would have been so nice to see them go into the
All-Star break, yeah.
Having won that game convincingly.
Would have been 10 in a row.
It would have been convincing. And that's one of those games where you say to yourself at the end of the season, does that differentiate you between a 5 and a 4 or 3 seed? Does that one get so close in the East? And you played a heck of a game. You annihilated and blew off the doors of the 76ers, which was tremendously exciting for me because I hate the 76ers. I'm not a big fan of that team. And it was a blowout. And what? Because Marcus Smart didn't play and Robert Williams, now we barely win a team.
Yeah, and then the other excuse is back-to-back. So well, they played in Philly, and it's like I don't care about that stuff.
The back-to-back.
Because the flight from Philly is so long. It's like a 45-minute flight from Philly back home. Give me a break. You know what I mean?
They didn't. They
already checked out.
They had checked exactly. They're already thinking about the All-Star break and hanging out with their boys. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it from start to finish. They tried to make it a game at the end, and I was really hoping to find a game where it was tight at the end and could they close it out.
Yeah, me too.
And they had the lead. Now I know that the 2 3-pointers that went in, the 2 threes, one was like throw it up and see if it sticks, and it dropped. I get it. It was kind of a lucky shot. But that's what happens in basketball. Games get tight at the end. And I wanted the Celtics to be able to close out a tight game. And yet they still decided to not close it out. They had the lead. It was like 2.5 minutes left. And they couldn't do it. And you keep wondering why I'm not really jumping on. I think they're going to be fine as far as making the playoffs.
I don't know.
Making the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs. But that was a bad win. That's a bad loss. That's a bad loss.
It is a bad loss.
And for all the hoopla that they're talking about, and it just, I thought that Ime had figured something out. Did you hear about the latest about the potential situation of maybe there's this thought that maybe he was letting the players know, listen, if you guys don't stop playing for me, you're going to have Mr. Jimmy Wickers in here, and I'm going to be gone. Didn't you guys want someone like me to be coaching you? If not, you're going to get someone that looks like Brad Stevens. And I don't want to be stereotypical, but that's what's going to happen. So you better figure it out. And they wound up waking up and playing. Did he talk to Pop, and see what was going on? I don't know exactly what may have happened, but they were playing better. They were playing better. The game of basketball is so simple. If you just rebound and block out and defend your assignments, you are going to win, because this NBA league is pathetic when it comes to defending. Pathetic.
That nobody wants to defend.
Nobody wants to defend.
How many points can I score?
And it's all perimeter play.
Yeah.
And they were playing that little bit of 90s hoop, getting, moving in the baseline, getting those easy buckets. And then they go lose to the Detroit Pistons. So 508-974-3040 is our call if you want to chime in on the Celtics. And what we saw there with that debacle on that last game. I didn't like it. I thought they should have won that game. And now they're going to have situations coming out of the break. They're going to play Brooklyn, I think, is their first game out of the chute.
I believe it's at home. I could be wrong.
I think it is at home.
But what about you, Cobra? Do you like the Celtics team, or are you like one of those Celtics fans that likes like the older team with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett? And
I don't mind this team. I just feel like Jason Tatum really got one foot out the door at this point. You feel me?
Really?
I think so. I don't. Yeah, I think so. I'm not tapped in, but I'm just saying, like,
your sources on the street there.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I just feel like, man, I don't know, that this team is kind of weird. They go through runs where they're unbeatable, and then they play down to their competition.
So you know what I think? Yep. I don't think he's going anywhere, because I think the Celtics are going to sign his best friend in the offseason, Bradley Beal, because they're boys, they're tight. And I think that's the only way to keep him here, unfortunately. But there's also going to be other teams where I keep hearing the Sixers are going to be interested in forming a big three with Embiid, Harden, and Beal in the offseason. So the Celtics going to have to step it up, man. I mean, there's competition everywhere, but you know what? They kind of did this to themselves.
Hey, Cobra, if you think that Tatum leaves, what do you think he would go? What would be a good place for him to go? What do you think would be a team that you think would work for him?
It's a good question. I mean,
I got a couple of teams, but I don't know.
I mean, the Lakers are always an option, but just because LeBron's there,
sure.
He really respects LeBron. I remember last year, they played against the Celtics, Lakers, and LeBron had such high praise for Tatum, and Tatum was just so happy about that, which I get it. Like, if your idol or something told you.
Well, do you know who his idol was growing up?
No, I don't know. That was
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, it was Kobe. Okay. Well,
so that Lakers connection exists.
Sure. All right.
But see, I don't see it. The reason why I don't see it is because he's always posting on social media. He's always posting Celtic stuff. He's always like when they interview him, he just seems like a mellow type of guy. I don't know if he would be wanting to play in the spotlight. I know they say Boston's a tough place, but they haven't really been tough on him here, the media. You know what I mean? If you go to New York, they're going to. They've
kind of had it made.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, that's why I think this is going to be a crucial offseason. It's going to be. I think it's a make it or break it offseason for the Celtics.
It might be. It might be the beginning of the end if they don't figure something out and get over that hump.
Yep.
Yeah.
What would be your expectations for the Celtics? Like at this point, they're in are they fifth, sixth?
They were sixth, I believe.
Okay. What do you think what would be, as a fan, what would you like to see their expectation be for this year?
Okay.
What do you think?
I'll give you what I think is going to happen and what I want to happen.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that.
I think what I want to happen is get to the semifinals. I don't think there's any shame in losing that one.
Eastern semis.
Eastern semis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I think what's gonna happen is they lose the round before that. So they might beat up on some tomato can team in the first round. And then I think they lose 4 games to 2 to whoever after
So that to me is a massive disappointment.
Well, do you want to hear something crazy? I did hear this on our 2 to 6 counterparts here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 365 Sports or something had the Celtics as the number 1, like the best odds to win the NBA championship this year.
Really?
Updated. Now it's updated after the trade deadline.
Really?
But again, you know why? Because it's all about the metrics, and they plug in all their formulas and everything.
And they're geeky things.
Whatever they put in, and they said the Celtics had the best, whatever that was.
Well, I mean, I'm not convinced in that. I mean, defense in that sport does win things.
You're right.
It wins games. It can win series. You can steal the game here and there because your defense is solid. Your rebounding is solid. But I mean, I still think the West just has a lot of power out there. Phoenix, Golden State is back to what they were. They had that lull of a few years. If you wanted to win a championship, Celtics would have been at the era where Golden State was horrid because they were missing Klay Thompson. They were missing Steph Curry. Now the boys are back in town, and you still blow, apparently, at times, because you can't beat Detroit. So I would love to see the metrics be correct. I think that the Celtics have gotten a little bit of a pass because they won that 2008 hat in the middle. For those of you who are following my hat personification, it's been a while.
It has been a while,
and they went to the finals a couple of times thereafter, and they fell short. So at some point, we have to stop forgiving them, and they need to start executing.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, I was lucky enough to see the 08 championship, but that's the only championship I've seen.
Yep.
And listen, 08 was a long time ago.
It does seem that way.
You got to bring another one to Boston.
There you go, folks. 508-974-3040 is our super Saturday special of our podcast, Coming in Clutch. And, we talked a little bit of hoop right there. Cobra feels like, the Eastern semis. I would hope that they would go a little bit more beyond that, but I do like the fact of it being, an optimistic point of view from you, man. So good stuff there. We're going for a break. Folks, we're going to take a quick break.
So I think this is it for Cobra.
We'll come back. Cobra, thank you very much for coming in.
I hope you had a good time, man. All right, everyone check him out.
Yeah,
Young Kobra. All right,
appreciate it, guys.
All right, then.
Thanks for coming on.
Hang around there, folks, and we'll be back on the other end. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk to you soon on the other end. Bye. And welcome back, folks, to the super special Saturday edition of Coming in Clutch, your background and backyard local sports podcast on the Eric B. Media. And we had on our special guest today, Yung Kobra, up-and-coming star in the hip-hop scene. Cobra, that was a lot of fun.
Yes, and also I believe next Monday, because usually we go on Mondays. This Monday night we will not be on. It is a holiday, and I know my counterpart here, he has prior engagements, so we will not be going on Monday. But a week from this Monday, I believe is the 28th of February,
Yep.
we will be having another special guest.
We will.
And for all you sports card fanatics, this is the show that you do not want to miss.
Yep, it's definitely going to be a good one on that. And for those of you who are getting your travels ready, I know some of you who have children, this is the February vacation. So I hope you're enjoying time with the family and with your kids. Hopefully you have some plans. And if not, and if you're doing like me, where you're stuffing the kids in the closet for a week, kidding. Kidding.
He's really not.
So enjoy the time with the kids if you can. I know some of us still have to work and so forth. So, but we will not be on Monday, but we will be back, and that should be a really good show for some of you who have been getting into the sports card phenomenon. It's been a big market, especially during the COVID year 2020.
Yes, it definitely blew up, and I definitely have some pieces that I'm going to bring in personally and have him look at and talk about. And
so
it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be a good one. So if you got your cards, you got about a week to put together your pieces. If you want to call in and ask the guest who will be on, check out the pages and check out who we're going to have. We'll start to promote that soon, and we'll get rolling here. So. We had the privilege today of going a little bit beyond our typical hour, so we have a little bit more time to be able to discuss sports and the different topics. We went into a little bit of the Bruins. We went quite a bit into the Celtics and where we think they're going to be, and we wanted to kind of pick up a little bit on hoop once again. I am very distraught and very upset, as I mentioned, with the Celtics and that pathetic loss to the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons have been a very bad team all year. They had a tremendous win, the Celtics, a win that probably wins over crowds and wins over fans because it was such a blowout where it really wasn't an engaging game. It was over after halftime. So if you chimed over to the Bruins game, that game was far more entertaining against the Rangers. That was the same night. And I went on my rant and raving about the Bruins earlier in the show. So we're going to continue on with hoop. And Colby, your favorite topic. Where's our PC Friars?
So my beloved PC Friars took a very hard loss this past Tuesday night to Villanova, who, after being live at that game, you could, and I'm not one to blame referees or anything like that. It was a combination of two things. Okay. It was a combination of the refs, and it was a combination of 3 pointers. So the one thing that I don't like, and I feel like it happens in every sport, is the name. So Villanova is a sexy name.
Huge name.
It's a top name in the country usually. Everyone knows what Villanova is. And you could tell that by the way it was being officiated. There were a lot of calls that Villanova was getting that I was just like, this is insanity. You know what I mean? And, you had their starting point guard there. Connor, I can't even say his last name because of the G.
Gallardi or something like that. Yeah.
So the whole time, every time he's dribbling the ball, he keeps using his shoulder and pushing the defender away. And you're taught at a very young age not to do that because that's automatically an offensive foul.
Typically, yes.
And he kept doing that the whole entire game. Cooley was going nuts, screaming at the referees because they never once called it. Between that, the moving picks, the amount of travels that Villanova did that whole game, it was insane, man, being there live. But the three stats that stick out to me, besides the referees, is PC, I believe, had 29 field goals to Villanova's, I think Villanova had like 26. Okay. So PC had more field goals. Okay.
Yep.
PC had less turnovers. PC had more offensive rebounds than Villanova. But the one glaring hole or glaring stat, if you want to call it, is that the Friars only hit 4 3-pointers for the night.
Correct.
To Villanova's 11.
Yep, I have them here, the stats here. So what Colby's talking about is the 3-pointer behind the arc. They were not good. The Friars were not so hot.
They weren't.
They went 5 for 23 with 22%.
Yeah.
And that's where Villanova won the game. Gillespie is the kid that's in question. He put up 33 points. And really, at one point, he was the only offense in the first half.
Listen, he didn't do much the first half. And all of a sudden, the second half, it's like he got a talking to, like, dude, you got to step it up.
Yeah, he exploded.
Because I don't think he missed a shot the whole second half. And it was just so frustrating watching it live because it's like at the end of the day, the Friars had so many opportunities to capitalize. Yeah. Like they just had so many opportunities, man, and they just couldn't do it. Even like the last play of the game where he hit a 3-pointer, Gillespie. And like I just don't understand the mindset of the defender. I forgot who it was. Horchler. It could have been Bynum. I can't remember who it was. But they knew the pick was coming.
He was getting
okay.
The ball. Right.
They knew he was going to have the ball. They knew the pick was coming, and all that guy needs is like a millisecond of a space or an opening, and he's going to launch it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I could see it coming. I couldn't believe the defender fell for that. He hits a wide open 3. That was a dagger. Game over right there.
It was. And I wound up going back and catching the game. I couldn't find it live at that day. That evening, and they kept it pretty close. In Villanova, that was my fear. On Monday night, we had our show, and we had Johnny Noons on, and I didn't feel. I don't remember my body language. I didn't feel good, and I just felt it was one of those games where maybe things might run out. I don't want to say they're luck because it hasn't been luck. They played very well. I just felt like there was going to be something happening.
They might have ran out of steam a little bit.
It could have been. It's been a tremendous run. I don't know. Are they still 8? Did they drop down to 10? Or
I don't know. We find out on Monday.
Monday.
So the rankings come out every Monday.
Yep.
So they have a game tomorrow at Butler, which they should win that game. Butler's been playing some good basketball lately, but PC just needs to honestly, the way I look at it is PC has its own destiny ahead of them. Okay. Yes, you lost to Villanova the other day, but you're still a game lead above them in the Big East. All right. You only have 2 losses compared to Villanova's 3 losses.
Exactly.
So PC's still in first place. So at the end of the day, they just need to win the games ahead of them. And they only have 4 games left in the season. I think they can win out. They have Butler tomorrow.
Right.
They have Xavier, I believe, Wednesday night. And then they have Creighton coming to town a week from today, next Saturday. And the last game of the season, I believe, is going to be
Villanova again.
Is at Villanova.
At Villanova.
So that's going to be a good game. But you know what? It's winnable. Just watching them the other day, they could have won that game. They just have to hit a few more shots. You know what I mean? Especially the 3-point shots. So, like I said,
I'm not surprised, though, Cole. They haven't really been a 3-point team all year.
No,
that's not their strength.
Right. It really isn't their strength.
They're kind of a team that kind of muscles you around. Watson had a real nice game for himself. It was nice to see him kind of come out of that. He had been having some slumpy games. That's not really what they're predicated. I think their pedigree and what Cooley has them doing is really trying to defend, drive to the hoop, move the ball around, and take that shot. That's why there hasn't been that one consistent game scorer every night. There's always someone different.
Yeah,
whether it's Bynum, whether it's Hochler.
And Bynum's been hot lately. He's been he's won the Big East Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
And there was some shaky play with him. I won't forget. It was the second half. I think there was like 3 minutes left in the game. The Friars just got the ball off a turnover, and he comes running down the court and chucks up a 3. Missed it. But like right there, the game kind of turned right there. Like you didn't have to shoot that 3-point shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His game, when you look at it, it wasn't a Bynum type of game. You're looking at 18 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a couple of steals, pretty good from the floor, 54%. But those 4 turnovers,
that kills you.
That's a killer.
It is a killer.
Croswell too. Croswell had a few turnovers that he should have had.
And another example where Cooley took out Watson for defensive purposes, knowing that Croswell's better than him. All right. Obviously, we don't need Watson to get into foul trouble. Just takes him out, puts Croswell in. Okay. Croswell has one job. See that big guy standing in front of you?
That's your job.
That's your guy.
Yep.
Okay. Villanova takes the ball out at the end court there. Right. What does the guy do? Runs all the way down, like cherry picking, right? Runs all the way down to the hoop on the other side. The guy throws it all the way down to the other end of the court, lays it up. Croswell looking around like it's like you had one job. Stay with your guy. That was your guy. Yeah. That's it. If you stay with your guy, that play would have never happened.
He has come off the bench and he's done pretty well.
He has
typically, but that wasn't his best.
Yeah, and I don't want to trash on PC, obviously, because they've had such an amazing year.
They have. And Villanova is a contending team. Again, like you said, a big name. So, I'm just hoping that, they finish up, the stretch here. They've had a tremendous record-breaking type of season. The players believing in each other. And sometimes a loss takes off that pressure of always constantly winning. They had won like 8 or 9 in a row.
It was insane,
something
man.
ridiculous. So an unprecedented run there that they had, for the Friars. So hoping for a rebound back with, against Butler. They're playing Butler tomorrow. So, I think they'll bounce back.
I mean, they should. But again, I thought they were going to win the other night, and look how that happened. But, the other thing I just got to get off my chest real fast about the Friars this year is, I pay close attention to them. I'm a season ticket holder. I go to every single game when I can. But these national writers, like, I saw a guy the other day. I forgot who it was. Could have been ESPN. He had his top 25 rankings, and he put basically that the Friars have been getting lucky all season, right?
Sure.
And it's like, have you even watched the games? Because this isn't luck. This is a senior team. Think about it. All these players are pretty much seniors that are on the starting, that are starting for the Friars, okay? And that's hard to come by in college sports nowadays. Nobody lasts, 4 years in college. They're always going to the NBA or doing something, right? So basically, the whole starting 5 for the Friars are seniors or graduates.
Yep.
4 or 5th year seniors.
Yeah,
okay?
they're definitely an older team.
And so they have experience and they're playing together. Yep. What is so lucky about that?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I read something similar to that. There's still not the appropriate accreditation for that team because, again, I've always mentioned this, and for those of you who follow college hoop or college sports, as you know, our area tends to be a little bit thin or leaves much to be desired for truly supporting the college teams. And I think when there's a story, I remember this happened with the UMass team of '96. Marcus Camby days. And the other guy there,
Calipari was the coach, right?
Calipari was the coach, and the guy who played for the Bulls for a while. He's like a power forward. He was a big name at the time too with Camby. He had a great team, and it was like a Cinderella story, And they got into the Sweet 16, I think, at one point, but because it came from Amherst, which is not considered to be a big,
of course,
team, big basketball hoop, type of program. That's what you get. And I think it's demoralizing because there's a lot of talent in New England, and we have a melting pot of folks from different backgrounds, of all different shapes and sizes and athletic abilities. And there's great schools here, and we don't know about a lot of the kids who leave here and go to those big schools who are from here. So when Providence College becomes big, it's a win-win because now maybe that local kid stays local.
Well, and a prime example of that is David Duke. One of the best players to come out of Providence. He had offers to go to UConn, Villanova, all the big schools, but he actually committed to UConn and then decommitted and went to PC. And now, look at him. He's playing for the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, he's getting some minutes now with the Brooklyn Nets. So that's another prime example of a local kid playing for a local university and making it big.
There you have it, folks. So a little talk right there with PC Friars, and hoping they can get a bounce back win tomorrow. Check out that game. Check your local listings for that game, and they got a good stretch here, 4 games before they get into hopefully the tournament and the Big East tournament. So 508-974-3040 is our phone call here if you want to chime in and give us your thoughts on anything really sports related. If there's something there that you want to chime in, it's kind of like a free forum, a super special Saturday edition of Comin in Klutch. And we're going to take one other quick break, and we're going to come back on the other end for our last segment, and we'll bring you home, and don't go anywhere. And we're back, folks, on the Super Saturday edition of Comin in Klutch Sports Podcast. And we are going into our last segment here of our show. And thank you for chiming in on a Saturday edition. Hopefully, you're as engaged as we are. And to kind of recap a little bit about what we've done so far, it's been a very fun and entertaining, but yet pretty busy hour-ish that we've had. We started off with our opening vents, and we had Colby discussing his disagreements and his gripes with the help me out again. What was it? Was
with, the whole Brady situation.
The whole, yes, with Brady.
Are you retired? Yep. Or you're not retired?
Right.
Pick one.
Yeah, pick one. Yep, pick one. And I have mine with the bees, and my situation with them with the the shootout and the lack of Pasternak, not wanting to shoot and just trying to tweedledee around the puck. We had our special guest with Yung Kobra. We talked some hoop. And we're going to bring in the last 15 minutes, and we're going to go real quick back into the Bruins. I want to kind of give my quick synopsis for the Bruins. So my situation with the Bruins is frustrating hockey at times that it's just going to fall a little short this year for them. I think more than ever, it's inevitable that the change is happening. The Marshy, Berge, era is coming to an end.
It has to, unfortunately.
It's going to have to. And I think Swayman is a talented guy. They need help back there on defense to help out with McAvoy. They got to pair him up with somebody that's more legitimate. And there's just parts of their games where they grind it out and they look solid. And then there are moments when they're just falling flat, not doing what they got to do, back checking, forward checking, getting into those corners, having a very high efficiency of scoring percentage when it comes down to the power point, into the power play. They defend the power play pretty well, actually, which is kind of funny. They're actually worse 5-on-5, which is really pathetic. So
can I ask you a quick question? Do you think it has anything to do with Cassidy? You think it's Cassidy, or you just think it's the players just...
I've questioned Cassidy. People have questioned Cassidy. I'm not quite ready to turn, to put the towel in with him.
I actually thought he was a pretty good coach, man.
I think he's doing the job. I think he's a Bruin. I think he talks like a Bruin. I think he has enough hard ass in him to be able to manage his team. There are some decisions sometimes he makes where I think he's a little too predictable with what he's going to do next with his lines. But when he gets a little creative with his lines, that team plays different and they play better.
You know what I like? I like how he kind of calls out his players, though.
He does.
Because a lot of coaches can be scared to do that, but he's not afraid to call them out, man.
He's a very matter of fact kind of guy.
You're right.
No question about that. So, I think the Bruins are a team that could squeeze into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to go too far, but unless something for them to be impactful, Swayman is going to have to play not good, but outstanding.
Yes.
He needs to play absolutely lights out.
But they also need to give him the confidence and let him play. You can't keep putting Olmark in the net. You let the kid play. At this point in the season, just let him play, man.
And I think the concern that I have with Swayman, and one of the goals against the Rangers, he needs to control his rebounds. There are rebounds in the pipes as a goalie that you just can't control, the ones that come off the pads. But if you get a rebound that's coming off your chest and it's in the front of you, you need to swallow that up, Swayman. He needs to clean that up. But much like, you're looking about Mac Jones being a rookie, right? Relax. I still want to give Swayman a chance. He's still a rookie. It takes time to develop a goalie in the NHL. It really does. So if he cleans up some of that mess up front where the rebounds coming off his chest, talking about the body, the body spillage, as we call it, that needs to be tightened up because that second goal came from that should have been cleaned up. So he needs to work on that quite a bit. But, he made a couple of saves that were spectacular. I mean, left to right, super smooth. He kept them in that game against a very, very good Rangers team. That team is a good team. So I think there's something there. I'm ready for Swayman. Tukes, good riddance. Thank you very much.
But this is what I need.
I want Swayman
because when they brought Tuukka back, they sent Swayman down to Providence.
Yep, they did.
I mean, just think about that, man. That's definitely going to mess with your head and your confidence. Yeah. But and I think the Bruins screwed up on that. You know, you didn't have to bring Tuukka Rask back.
No, they should have. And that I don't know what else they needed to see from him. I don't know if they were just trying to play the game of owing him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if that was a decision that that they were deciding to try to do, to give him benefit of the doubt.
I know it was cheap money, but you know what? Like I said, I know it's going to sound crazy or stupid, but Marchand wanted Tuukka. Bergie, that's my best friend. Like, enough of that. Okay, I get it. You're close. You guys play together, but dude, it's professional sports.
It's sports, and you can't have that. You got to go, well, what's best for the team. And Tuukka was the worst goalie. And Tuukka's a guy that has always had mental problems. When they came time for the big games, for crying out loud, he can't even face the Canadians.
And they needed him.
He go into the Bell Center, and they have to bench him. Think about that for a second. Here's a guy that has one of the greatest save percentages in the NHL's history as a goalie. And when it came to the Bell Center, it's, this game is 2 weeks out. Who's going to play? Because Tuxies can't play in the Bell Center. And he would crap his poo-poos. And they got to bring extra diapers for him.
But then, like I said.
I'm going to tell you something. You know what I hate? I hate players who have talent, but have mental weakness.
Hey, there's plenty of them.
I cannot stand you as a player.
I.e., NBA, Kevin Durant.
Yes. Kind of tends to have a little bit of that. He
can't help him. I know what kind of.
You're right.
But like, he's one of those guys that can't help what people say about him on Twitter, and he has to actually chime in and say something. It's like, dude, you're making millions and millions of dollars. Who gives a crap what someone says about you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tuukka always had this problem. When his head wasn't right, his game wasn't right,
Correct.
and it became a detriment.
You're right.
But when he was on, he was the best in the business.
And that's what I'm saying. The whole bubble. Think about that. To me, he quit on that team in the bubble, man.
There was a lot of misnomers there what was going on. And I know for a fact, that people think that there might have been a famous situation going on. Perhaps there was. I'm just with him. I can't believe anything he says because right. I always
you'll never know.
I'll never know.
So let me ask you this. You think his number will be retired?
With the Bruins, you're saying?
Yes. I have a feeling they're going to retire.
I have a funny feeling that they will. I think they will because of the longevity and the history of him being there. It wasn't like Tim Thomas, where Tim Thomas was kind of a late bloomer kind of thing.
I think and Thomas played, I think, a lot of his years in Providence, didn't he? I don't think it was just a couple. Like, I think he was down there for a while. He was on there for quite a while, and he obviously was a late bloomer, but he did win a Stanley Cup. He did.
I think with Tuukka Rask's statistics, if you want to be a statistical nerd, I think makes a very hard argument for him. I personally would be fine with him not being.
Hey, he won 0. At the end of the day, he won 0.
Exactly. I don't think he should be up there, but I think he will because I think time heals everything and people get soft.
You're right.
As time goes on. So 508-974-3040 is the call for your lovely phone calls to come on, chime in on a Super Saturday special edition of Coming in Clutch. I do want to emphasize the fact that for those MLS fans that are getting ready for the season, yes, it's a short season. It just seems like yesterday.
I was just going to say, I can't believe that. Yeah, it's crazy.
So welcome to a sport of very little downtime. So a lot of moving parts been going on with the Revs. They brought obviously Josie Altidore in, 32-year-old, has had some miles on him, but the miles have been a lot controlled in the last couple of years.
Do you think you think the team's going to benefit from him being here?
I do think so. I think that connection with him and Bruce is essential. In the game,
you could tell there's something there. Those guys,
they click. And I think they know that Buksa, the Polish striker, is probably being looked at in Europe. He is a European, a root guy. So I think up front, having a guy like Josie Altidore, that experience is essential. And I think the team needs a little bit more of that leadership. Losing Matt Turner, folks, is a big loss.
Well, I was just going to say, is he going to play in any games still? Because I don't think I thought that transfer wasn't going until the summer, right? Or the spring.
I don't think. No, he's gone.
He's definitely gone.
Yeah, he's definitely gone. And I don't think Matt's going to get a ton of time out there in Arsenal. That's a big name. That's a different ball game, folks.
Is he getting big money to go there?
He's getting a lot more money there than what he was getting here. So it's definitely a money situation. Look, I'm happy for Matt Turner. He came from us. He was sitting behind Brad Knighton for a long time.
Yes, yep.
He got his opportunity. He capitalized. He's by far the best USA goalie in the world. He deserves his shot. And he deserves to get paid. I mean, ultimately, and that sport, much like other sports, the longevity is short. So kudos for him. But he will be sorely missed. He won some games last year, and he's a very attentive goalie. He understands his zone. He understands anything that goes on inside the 6. And he was just really very engaging, very alert. Uses his feet pretty well. Just a great keeper, a great keeper for MLS.
So I'm not a big soccer guy. So just from my records here, and to help me out a little bit, can you compare Turner to Howard? Right? Was that the guy?
Howard.
Was he? Are they similar? Is Turner better? Howard better?
I think Howard was slightly better. Okay. I think Howard.
So Turner's almost there.
Yeah, certainly he's on his way. I mean, and I don't like to make those comparables because they were a little bit different. Howard.
What was his first name?
Tim
Howard.
I think Howard was a guy that had a little bit bigger wingspan.
Yes.
He had he had been playing in some big boy games.
Well, and I think that's why I remember him, because that's when USA. But I was watching those games.
I think Matt is going to create his own legacy with the USA team on his own.
Yeah.
I think in 7 to 8 years from now we're going to be talking about is this guy comparable to Matt Turner? So kids worked hard. I'm happy for him, but we're going to miss him. And they have a kid that they just brought up, Jackson, as a keeper. That keeper situation is a little concerning. And I think that's why they brought in another veteran back in that back line. They want Jose Altuve up front to be able to score goals to compensate maybe a goal that they concede. I'm getting excited for it. It's right around the corner. I do want to say there is a little bit of hostility going on, some interesting stories going on with the CONCACAF. So for those of you who follow soccer, and on the outs, out in Europe, there's a Champions League and all that stuff where the best teams get together. The Revs are going to play a team, a cavalry team, AS Cavalry, and because of visas, they actually could not come over and they got forfeited. So that means that the Revolution automatically advanced into the quarterfinals.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. So that's kind of a crazy talk there. So not a ton more other than that with regards to the MLS. Is your Revolution are, congratulations, without playing 1 minute or 1 second, they are advancing into the quarterfinals of the CONCACAF because the other team, they forfeited. So ole. And the thunder strike made for the soccer gods, and we're moving on. So without even playing one game. Matter of fact, I almost bought tickets to go watch that game. They were going to pay me back. But anyway, so that's a story with the Revs. So stay tuned for more of that. We got a few minutes left. I think I just want to wrap up a little bit and first and foremost, thank again Eric B Media, for allowing this podcast to exist and allowing for us to keep going on and rolling on. Thanking all the viewers as well for listening and viewing and commenting on the feeds. Keep it coming. Without you, this show is not possible. We're looking to keep bringing on as many guests as we can to bring in a whole plethora of different sports talk. Sports is obviously a gigantic monster on its own, and we are aware of that. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, the podcast and Coming in Clutch is being brought to you by the great folks at Troy City Mortgage, the best place to get a mortgage in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, led by the great David Pereira. And that the team at Troy City Mortgage has local roots and deep knowledge and expert solutions to get you the best mortgage possible. Give them a call at 508-207-5864. That's 508-207-5864. Folks, those rates are going up. They're creeping, and you want to give them a call if you want to refinance, do maybe a HELOC, do a home equity line of credit, or maybe you're looking to do something else creative. Maybe you're looking to do that addition. This is still the dog days of the winter, and it's a good time to kind of get some of those products ready to go. Maybe you're building that man cave and getting ready for the great MLB. Yeah. So getting ready for whatever you may want to do. Sports. I'll see you in August. Yeah. Let me know what the home run derby is. So there you have it, folks. Colby, anything else you want to add into our super special Saturday edition of Coming in Clutch Sports Podcast?
Nope. I just want to thank everyone for continuously watching and chiming in. And like I said, don't be afraid to chime in, comment on Facebook. Like I said, the number. We're not gonna bite you. Everyone's welcome to chime in with their own opinions.
Of course,
that's what we're here for. And I also want to say, you know, hi to the people watching on YouTube. I know we don't really talk about YouTube that much, but we are on YouTube.
My YouTubers.
I don't know. I doubt there's many, but I just want to say, you know, we are on YouTube, and you know, it's. I'm happy to be on YouTube, and we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens.
Right, and we have different platforms now that we're linked into. You know, I think there's different platforms that you can view the podcast. So if something happens with where Facebook may not be working for whatever reason, you're able to check us out and see what we have going on. So just a quick reminder: we are not going to be here on Monday.
Correct.
So enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your long holiday for those of you who have the long weekend. The weather is still a nightmare out there. It was snowing today.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be a nice week.
So that's what I'm hoping for, because there's a ton of things that I need to do. So that's all we have time for, folks.
Just get my last plug in. I know springtime and summertime's coming, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of parties. So don't forget to book DJ Classic, and you can book him at bookdjclassic@yahoo.com.
There you have it, folks. So that is all we have time for today on our super special edition of Comin and Klutch. And we will see you a little bit after next week, and we'll catch you then. I'm Nelson.
I'm Colby.
And we are out.